Battlefield 2042 Season 2 has been out for several days now. The player base has spiked as expected, the battle pass is well underway, new weapons and specialists are on the field, and generally speaking, I've seen a lot of positivity from the community about the improving state of the game, but some warranted complaints as well. Today, I want to talk a little bit about my impressions with the update, what worked, what didn't work, and how I feel about where the game is headed in the near future. Now, as a content creator, something kind of crazy happened with Battlefield. I was putting together a video about just how powerful Pike has become since her last scanner buff, and how easy it is to just top the scoreboard using her ability. And just as I'm getting into the script, DICE released a back-end hotfix to nerf her scanner substantially. And historically speaking, once something becomes a bigger problem in Battlefield games to the point where content creators are having to discuss exploitive gameplay, it usually happens several months before any sort of dev fix. But this time, DICE seems to have been a bit more responsive and aware of some of the meta shift in the game. I mean, Pike has been an issue in the game since her last buff, but it does seem like the fixes and acknowledgements, or at least awareness of some of the exploitive or overpowered gameplay is being dealt with sooner this time around. Granted, there's still a lot of work on the vehicle front that I would like to see DICE do. Now, coming back to Season 2, overall my impressions with it are mostly positive with a few glaring letdowns. The good stuff is the new map, new vehicle, new weapons, and the new front-end menu. The map is solid, it's good fun on both Conquest and Breakthrough. It's probably not quite as good as Exposure, but if you really like that funneled combat experience of, say, Lockers or Metro from previous games, you certainly get a taste of that in the Breakthrough mode. The whole round of Breakthrough plays pretty well, but the final objective, in my opinion, is a bit more poorly designed and just too chaotic, both from a defense and offense perspective. The angles are kind of all over the place, making combat unpredictable instead of being able to progressively gain ground or defend. However, other than the last objective, it is without question one of my new favorite Breakthrough experiences in 2042. The Conquest mode is also fun, heavily catering towards Sundance and McKay Specialist, but also providing plenty of sniping and CQB opportunities. You kind of get it all on this map, but it's clear that Breakthrough is sort of the highlight of the map when it comes to the overall combat flow. Now, the new Specialist can be fun, but he's pretty gimmicky with his deployable turret. I think he's mostly going to appeal to newer players, which is honestly fine. I haven't been killed by his deployable minigun too much, but I've certainly killed a lot of people on them, which is generally how that's going to go. Sit still in Battlefield and you'll die. Even if you have an armored shield in front of you, it's still pretty easy to headshot with the sniper rifle. Now, the new guns are fun. I haven't played with the higher level unlock since the season launched, just during my preview session, but the first unlock, the AM40, is solid fun. It's probably not going to be a meta weapon, but it does seem to fit in with the arsenal at the moment. Unfortunately, some of the unlocks for it are bugged, and the second mag you unlock is also a 20-round magazine, which is kind of insulting to people using this weapon at the start, and kind of on par for many guns in this game. They play like garbage until you grind out a few hundred kills to get more unlocks. It's certainly not my favorite way to progress a weapon, but it is what it is. Now, the Battle Pass cosmetic unlocks seem solid. There's some pretty legit weapon and vehicle camos in the pipeline. The final skins for Charlie Crawford are cool, but again, he's a specialist that I probably won't be using, so it feels a little bit disappointing, where last season's camo was for Liz, who's actually a legit specialist, so the skin was a bit more enticing. Now, it's probably going to be a little while, maybe another week or so, before we start to see the full effect and impact of weapons like the PF51 sidearm and the RAM armored vehicle as more people start to unlock them. The sidearm is going to offer some fun loadouts for snipers who need to fight in close quarters, and the RAM could be extremely valuable for placing team-wide spawn beacons, and we're not really going to see the full impact of those for a little bit longer, but I'm excited to see what happens. Now, on the letdown side of 2042, the new Portal weapons are, well, pretty awful. On one hand, this is what players wanted DICE to do, was to inject the existing weapons from the Portal experience into the base game mode so that we had more weapon variety. However, the weapons are so poorly balanced that they simply can't compete against the current arsenal, and furthermore, are just not fun or rewarding in the slightest. The M16 feels like it has the spread of a shotgun at times. Swapping between it and other assault rifles is like playing two different games entirely. On top of that, it just got all of the attachments from Portal and, well, none of the 2042 attachments. And it just doesn't feel like a full-fledged all-out warfare weapon because of that. If DICE is going to continue moving forward with the vault weapons, they need to do a much better job. I literally don't want the other weapons this season if they're just going to be the same treatment, or rather lack of treatment, that they got. I'd rather have 1 to 2 vault weapons that are well balanced and have some interesting attachments rather than just 5 copy and paste guns from Portal. Now, the 2 map overhauls coming in the following months should also be fairly substantial changes to the game. Renewal is certainly the more problematic map of the 2, and if it becomes a more cover-based and enjoyable experience, that'll go a long way to adding a much needed good map to the set list. Orbital, on the other hand, I found to be one of the more playable maps at launch. Nonetheless, it does need more cover and a consolidation of the points to make traversal less of an issue. These 2 maps are going to really round out Season 2 in an even better way than Season 1, which only had a single map rework. Now, sadly, I wish I was more excited for the upcoming Portal weapons in Season 2, but if the M16 and M60 are any indication of the quality of the upcoming weapons, then I don't even want the next ones. Hopefully, DICE gets the message on that front and their data shows just how few people are actually using these Portal guns. Now, looking further beyond Season 2, I hope that in Season 3 we could see Hourglass on the table for a rework. It's been my least favorite map since launch, and it's just in dire need of some infantry cover. Obviously, Season 3 brings the class rework with it as well, which should be the most exciting part of that season. Getting Battlefield back to a class-based game versus one where everyone can just rearm and heal themselves all the time is much needed. The experience of needing to rely on other people more frequently will hopefully get that classic DNA back into the franchise and remind the current player base just how good Battlefield can be when you feel like you're actually working together with your team. Now, generally speaking, the second season is more good content from DICE, with the Portal weapons falling pretty flat. The upcoming map changes seem like they're going to be significant, and I'm curious to see if the returning player base this time around sticks around at a higher numbers compared to Season 1. It's also possible this season that Battlefield 2042 will start to retain higher concurrent player counts than Battlefield 5. Kind of embarrassingly for the franchise, the previous game skyrocketed in popularity leading up to the launch of 2042, and as 2042 bombed, well, everyone seemed to go back to Battlefield 5, and it's maintained a fairly healthy player base since, with Battlefield 2042 becoming a lesser popular game. It seems like those tables may be shifting in the near future, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Season 2. Is it solid progress from DICE, or too little too late? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.